Now, what's going on? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with the Boxing Clinic nighttime grind. You dig? And the end of the day started to heat up. Especially with the John Jones PIV shit, man. Even though it ain't boxing, it's disrespectful. And hopefully Mayweather McGregor is undergoing VADA. But let's talk about some real shit here, man. Let's talk about y'all, man. Some of y'all boxing fans, man. Let's talk about that. People will praise, Triple G resume and then try to tear Terence Crawford resume at the same time. Can't do it. You cannot do that. Not at all. It's a no-no. In my opinion, that's a huge no-no. I'm consistent across the board. And I told you guys, other than, Canelo Alvarez and Andre Ward, everybody else is in transition mode as far as, beating elite level in the sport of boxing. And what I mean by that is, Canelo beat Lara. He beat Trout when he was undefeated. He got solid names on his resume. Really good names on his resume for the most part. As far as them two wins, and then fighting Mayweather, then Cotto. He got good wins on his resume, and he got a great name with Floyd Mayweather. But he's not in my top 5 pound for pound. Just keeping it real. But I'm saying, like, I can see somebody made the case for him being number 2. In front of Crawford, I can see that. But I'm not going to argue it because it's your pound for pound list. But let's be consistent in what we're saying across the board. Let's not be a fanboy and then be a hater in the second breath. Golovkin resume is amongst the worst resumes in the sport of boxing for a 35-year-old boxer that's supposed to be the kingpin of a division, of a middleweight division, a glamour division. It hasn't been that glamorous. Even when Sergio Martinez beat Kelly Pavlik, he had to fight any and everybody just to get some clout, for fucking up his knee versus Martin Murray, and it was the decline before that. But with Triple G, he hasn't fought anybody that's elite. He fought potential elite guys like Kell Brook. After the fight, we thought if he didn't get wrecked, but he had the potential to be an elite fighter down the road. And you can be like, oh shit, Triple G beat him. Look how good his career went down since then. But since then, Ezekiel Brooks' career just went down the drain. Triple G really wrecked him pretty bad physically. You look at Danny Jacobs. He's a guy that got knocked out before in his career. He got knocked down by Sergio Mora before Mora tore his ACL wasn't the same. He beat Peter Quillen before that. After that, that was his claim to fame. Triple G didn't do anything that hadn't been done already. But he beat Danny Jacobs on the scorecards, barely, in most people's opinion. I guess you could say that. But he was already knocked out before. That's before he even had cancer. So, that's not an elite win. Now, if Daniel Jacobs goes on to do great things in the sport of boxing, it's a better looking win for Triple G. But I don't consider him an elite boxer right now. He's an elite middleweight, but overall, he wasn't a pound for pound type of boxer. You go down the list. Curtis Stevens, he wasn't ranked in the top 10 for none of Triple G's belt for that fight. They paid to get him ranked. Matthew Macklin wasn't shit. David Lemieux, in my opinion, he wasn't shit. He had already been knocked out before and beat before. Curtis Stevens had already been beat before. Matthew Macklin had already been beat before. Dominic Wade wasn't qualified. Willie Monroe just made a 6-pound jump before he fought Triple G and won a Boxino tournament. He was just fighting on ESPN Friday Night Fights. Proska was a guy that we didn't know too much about. Gabriel Rosado, we know, he's a tough customer, but he ain't the elite type. Martin Murray was a very solid win, but is that a pound for pound type number 1 win? I think not. Marco Antonio Rubio, whatever his name was. David Lemieux, he had stopped David Lemieux and already been beat before that. So Adamo, Shida, guys that really wasn't elite level, and these same guys try to pick Crawford's resume, and Crawford's resume is better than Triple G's resume. I think Victor Postal was a good win for him. It was almost a 50-50 fight among some hardcore fans. People really thought after Postal beat Matisse, he's going to beat Crawford, People thought that. He beat Julian Sandongo. He became undisputed before Triple G became undisputed. Some politics involved in that, And he's 7 years is his Triple G is 7 years his senior. And look what he's accomplishing with a late start, as far as being on the major prize fighting stage by a promoter. He beat Gamboa, who was one of the most talented fighters, even though I think he was a weight class above his grade. He beat Felix Diaz, a gold medal winner. Gamboa was a gold medal winner. He beat Tough Ray Beltran. He went over to the UK, left his habitat when nobody wanted to go to the UK and fight Ricky Burns. Adrian Broner said, I'm not fighting him over there. He can come over here. And he's just not getting started for me. He beat Thomas Delorme, who was a blue chip prospect. He beat his Hank Lundys. He beat his John Molinas. Some of those guys are on the same par as Triple G resume or lower. I understand that. I truly do. Not arguing that about you. But you can't throw stones when you live in a glass house. Triple G resume is piss poor weak. And it's even weaker once you add his age in. And people say, well, he had promotional issues. He got a late start. Crawford did too. Crawford was a dude in the street doing street shit. And most promoters didn't want to touch him. Got shot in the head. Changed his life around. So he got a late start. Was Crawford about 29? He just really came on scene 3 years ago. And he didn't caught up to Triple G. And in most people's opinion, surpassed Triple G, who was a silver medal winner in the Olympics. And this guy was an Olympic alternate in Terence Crawford. I'm not telling you to pick the lesser or the more between two evils. I'm not telling you guys that. I'm basically saying you can't be a hypocrite. You can't say, oh, it's, Triple G knocked out 23 bums, 23 okay fighters, man. Crawford beat 20-something okay fighters, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's still who you beat. It's your quality of your opponent. It's not the eye test that comes first. It's not, oh, he got speed, he got power. He looked the part. Oh, people were afraid of him. That's why he should be pound for pound number one. Nobody gets to be pound for pound number one because you're a boogeyman. And if that's the case, Paul Williams will probably be a top 30 all-time fighter. If it was going off, people were scared to fight you. Let's keep it real. People scared of Earl Spence don't mean shit. They might look scared to fight Earl Spence, but maybe it's politics behind the scene. Now, I believe people were scared to fight Paul Williams, though. I really do. He had to move up and fight and to get fights. That's understandable. But that doesn't make you pound for pound number one. It's still who you can get in the ring. You have to compromise and make sacrifices. And Triple G hasn't. He had opportunities. He could be pound for pound number one if he had beat Andre Ward. Instead of trying to negotiate a catch weight and then talk shit about Canelo trying to negotiate a catch weight. Same thing his fans doing. Being major hypocrites. Hypocrisy in the sport of boxing. Can't shit on Crawford. Crawford ain't never turned no shit down like that. He ain't never turned down no Earl Spence fight. He ain't never turned down no Keith Thurman fight. He ain't never turned down no Victor Postal fight. He didn't turn down Ricky Burns going to Scotland. They say he has never turned down a fight they offered him. He took it. Didn't he move up at last minute to fight British Peskos 5 pounds above his weight advantage at 135? He did that. Ask Triple G to at any point script. No, Big Drama Show can't do it. Big Drama Show can't do it. Abel Sanchez, it's not right to ask him, bunch of bullshit, man. Smoke and mirrors. That's what it is with Triple G. I'm not telling you guys, I definitely gonna stand on top of a mountain and say, Terence Crawford is a superior skilled fighter than Triple G. I'm not gonna tell you that because if, Triple G turns around and disposes of Canelo Alvarez and fold him like a chair, in my opinion, I can't argue with you guys making him number 2. But he ain't gonna be number 1. Like I said, Canelo could be number 2 right now. I'm not going to argue that. Really not. I'm really not. But right now, I got Terence Crawford at number 2 on my pound for pound list. Once all these major fights is over, end of the year, we'll do another one, close out the year, take 2 or 3 weeks off of boxing, depending on when the last major fight. We're going to start back again in January. You know how we do. But for you guys, Golovkin, no. Golovkin's resume, when you factor in the age or without the age, it's not that much better than it's not better than Terence Crawford in my opinion, at all. For his age and amount of fights he had, it's not better. But that's just my opinion.